it's Melanie. Thanks for joining me for another week. Today for our Sunday dinner, we are going to do pot roast. I got the potatoes, I got the carrots, I got the onions, I got the meat. I'm ready to roll. So just a couple things. I'm doing this in the quick cooker, and so I'm doing pot roast with mashed potatoes. You can certainly, if you don't have like a separate pot, you can just put the potatoes right in. If you are doing this in a slow cooker, you can certainly do that. Cook on low for 8 to 10 hours or high 4 to 5 hours. I would recommend doing the low setting if you have time for that, because it'll be falling apart tender and so good. It'll be good either way. So I'm going to start by seasoning up our roast, and I'm going to do a teaspoon each of oregano and thyme. And I already have some oil preheating in my quick cooker on sear. So the cool thing, I'm going to do a half a teaspoon each of black pepper and salt. If I can get my black pepper open. There we go. So the cool thing about the quick cooker is that I'm going to be able to cook this in, under 2 hours by the time it comes to pressure and everything. That's pretty amazing to be able to cook a pot roast that quick, and it's still going to be fall apart delicious. All right, mix up a little bit, and I will just sprinkle it over the top. Move it on a little bit, and I'll flip it over and sprinkle it on the other side. Rub it on there a little bit. And that is going to make a delicious sauce when it mixes with all the juices. Alright, our oil should be getting hot, so I am going to come over here and put it in. I'm going to sear it for about 5 minutes per side. We just want it to get nice and brown. This one looks like it'll fit in here pretty nicely. I might have to scrunch it up just a little bit, but I think it'll be good enough to do it. There we go, just right. Give it just a little push. Alright. I'm going to come back over here and get our veggies ready. So I love this quick cooker. I mean, I can sear it and cook it all in the same pot. It's pretty cool. And I can do 2 separate things. I'm going to have the pot roast and carrots and onions on the bottom, and mashed potatoes on the top in a different bowl. So it's really, you can make a whole complete meal in this. So I'm going to slice up our onions. While I'm going, I'm using my 8-inch chef's knife, which is my favorite, my go-to for, well, all jobs, but especially the big jobs. I'm just going to peel off the outside of the onion. And I'm not like chopping these up, so I'm not going to worry with a chopper or anything like that. I'm just going to slice them into chunks so they can withstand all of the pressure cooking. Here. Maybe cut each half into about 4 pieces, and then I'll separate them out as I cook them up. So all I'm going to do with the onions, and now I'm going to take our carrots and peel those up. I'm using my little Y-shaped peeler here. I love this thing. Also, I love that it's orange and I'm peeling carrots. Cute together. Good match. So I know some of you asked for some more low-carb and keto meals, and I've kind of had already been started planning this week's meals before I did that survey. But I will tell you that the pot roast itself is going to be keto friendly and low carb. And what you can do is you can swap out the vegetables. I did a little bit of research on that, and it was saying to use radishes instead of the potatoes. It gives you the similar thing. I've never done that before. That might be fun. It'd be something a little bit different, is to cut up some radishes and pop them right down in there in the pot. And then you could add mushrooms too, which I think would be delicious. It would give everything, especially the gravy, a really good flavor. And then that was the other big thing on making something low carb or keto, is if you take the juice at the end and turn it into a gravy. I don't think we're going to do that tonight. We might. I don't know. I haven't really decided yet. But the juice is delicious whether or not you turn it into a gravy. So you can actually avoid those extra carbs by just taking it and using the juice instead of adding in flour or cornstarch. So now I'm just going to cut up our carrots at the ends. And it said cut them into 4-inch pieces. And then I'm going to take those and cut them, the big ends into quarters and the smaller pieces in half. About a pound of carrots. And I don't know about you guys, but cooked carrots are my favorite. I love them cooked in a pot roast. And I usually do my potatoes down in my pot roast, and so this is kind of something different for me, but I just thought mashed potatoes sounded fantastic today, so we're going to go with that. And this is actually, this recipe comes in the quick cooker. It comes in the little book that comes with it, so it's something, you know, I've done my normal way of doing pot roast in there, but I haven't done it with the potatoes in the ceramic pot. All right, I'm going to come over here and give this a flip, check how it's doing. Oh yeah, that is a good sear. Let's put that back down and we'll come over and get the potatoes going. Oh, that smells so good already. All right, I wish I had smell-o-vision, guys. It smells good up in here. But if you're cooking along with me, you're going to be able to smell it too. All right, now I'm going to work on our potatoes. This is a ceramic pot. I am going to actually have the roast on the bottom and then put this pot right on top. And so the potatoes will cook separately, so we'll be able to turn them into mashed. So the recipe calls for Yukon Gold potatoes, but I found these little tiny potatoes, and I don't like to peel my mashed potatoes unless I'm using russets because I like to have the skins in there. So that's up to you. I found these little ones, so I'm just going to have them and pop them into the pot. And these will be delicious. They have nice thin little skins, so they'll have a little bit of texture, but it won't be overwhelming. And I like to have that in my mashed potatoes. And these are going to actually even be garlic mashed potatoes. That little guy I'm just going to toss in there. We're going to mince some garlic to put in there, and some broth, and when we pull them out, we'll add in some butter. They're gonna be good. Almost done. Last couple. Alright. I'm going to check my recipe over here. Make sure that I get the right amounts of everything in. So, we are going to put the potatoes and the broth and the garlic. So I'm going to go ahead and crush up my garlic with my garlic press. Maybe. There we go. Just put one little piece of garlic in there and give it a squeeze. Perfectly minced garlic coming out the other side. And this fun little tool, use the arm to scrape it off. And then if it doesn't come off like that, which I love it when it does that, then you use the arm to scoop it out too. And again, garlic, mashed potatoes. Now I am going to add in a half a cup of broth. And I have a little bit of leftover beef broth from some recipes we did last week. So I'm going to use that. Since we are cooking with beef, I have a little chicken broth in case I need to add in some extra. But I just needed a half a cup for my potatoes. And I do not need the salt until later. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put our stretch fit lid over this. This comes with the ceramic pot, and that's going to keep it all contained right here in there. And I'll show you how we drop that in here in just a minute. Over and check on this meat. And yes, the second side is looking good. So I'm going to pull it out. Just set it there to the side for a minute, and I am going to add in our onions. And we're going to cook those up for about 4 minutes on sear, just to get them started with the caramelization. Alright, we are back and our onions are starting to look good. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel on the quick cooker, and I am going to go ahead and pour in our other half cup of broth and kind of scrape the bottom of the pan to get the cooked bits off. That's going to help flavor our sauce and also make sure that we don't get our pan too hot by getting any burning on the bottom. But mostly it's going to flavor our broth here. All right, I'm going to add in our carrots on top of that. And then our meat right on top of that. Man, this guy's hefty. There we go. There. And then I'm going to put in, this is the rack that comes with the quick cooker. I'm going to set it right down in there. It's hot down in there, so be careful. Use some tongs if you need to. Try to get the feet planted on each side. I think I got it there. They're over the meat anyway. And then I'm going to take our potatoes and set them in this little special carrier here. And lower this right down into the quick cooker. See how that nestles right on top? So I can cook it all together. And this is where it gets easy. And then put on the lid, make sure that my steam release valve is closed, and I'm just going to turn it over to beef/pork and hit start. So what's going to happen now is it's going to come up to pressure. This little red indicator on the top is going to come up, and then once it hits the right pressure, it's going to start the countdown. And when it's done, we're going to let it naturally release for 10 minutes, and then I'll see you in a minute. I'll see you when that happens. Hey, we're back. Our pot roast is done, and it's been over 10 minutes since it was done, so it had some 10 minutes of natural release. So I'm going to scooch this over. It's recommended that you keep your quick cooker somewhere where it's open. I don't really have any spots where I can plug it in and it doesn't have a cabinet on top, so I put it under my microwave, and I just turn on my fan on high when I go to do it. So turn on my fan and push the steam release button, and you'll notice the steam shoots away from my hand. And I'm just going to do that until the little red indicator goes down. I just gave it a little nudge there. Sometimes mine gets kind of stuck in the up position, so if the steam stops coming out, you can use a pot holder, or I just use a towel, and I went over it. Sometimes it's not done yet, and it'll pop right back up, but that time it was. Oh man, that smells so good. All right, so now just take it off, and see what's inside here. Oh, it's just the pot on top. So these are gonna be very hot, but look how easy it is to pull them out. I use my little mini pot holders here. Pull it out. Now, all this condensation on top. I'm gonna pull this off here and try to dump that into the sink. Whoa, I got my dog. Sorry, Rocky. All right, and you can see the pot roast is in there. This automatically goes into a warm setting after it's done cooking. So I am going to just put the lid on so it can keep warm while I mash up my potatoes. So I have 2 tablespoons of butter here that I've cut up and that have been sitting out. So they're not quite room temperature, but they're getting there. And a teaspoon of salt. Now, everybody turn your heads while I dump in a little bit of heavy whipping cream. That's not in the recipe, but it's good. I didn't tell anybody I was losing weight in this year, so I'm adding it. All right, this is our potato masher. It's new this year, and it's cool because it folds down. You just give it a squeeze and folds up, so it's not going to get stuck in your drawer. And we're going to mash, mash, mash. Our mix and masher would also be great for this. Everybody loves the mix and chop, and some people don't know that it has a little sister or cousin, the mix and mash, and it's great for getting in and mashing up those potatoes. But this one's new, so I thought I'd show it off. And you can just keep going until you get them the consistency that you like. I like to give a few mashes and then go around, give a little swirl. Again, this bowl is hot, but I have mom hands, so I can touch it. So just be careful. I'm going to add just a little bit more heavy cream because I want them to be creamier. Because, I mean, if I'm going to do it and have the potatoes and the butter and everything, I'm going to do it. There we go. All right, I'll get this all plated up, and I will put a picture to show you at the end. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you love this one. See you later.